What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speak. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some recent comments that Stephen A. Smith made. And he said that he thinks that the Golden State Warriors can reach the Western Conference Finals, right? And I have to say, you know what I mean? First of all, I just want to say that what took you so long to to come to that conclusion to finally get on not necessarily the bandwagon, but just get on the same page, man. I've been saying even before Jimmy Butler came to the Golden State Warriors that what Jimmy Butler did, the game that Jimmy Butler brings is good for specifically it benefits Draymond Green and it benefits Steph Curry. A lot of people just pointed out the fact that Jimmy Butler game complements Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler um, mainly get his buckets from under the basket, closer to the rim and mid range. And so also Jimmy Butler draw a lot of fouls, right? So that benefits Steph Curry in a way where Steph Curry has room to operate out there around the 3-point line. Also, Steph Curry can he don't have to press hard all the time when Jimmy Butler is on the court because he can kind of get his rest while Jimmy Butler is playing. He don't have to, you don't have to take him off the floor for him to get his rest. He can get his rest on the floor, and then if they need Steph Curry, if you sag off of Steph Curry, that threat is still there. So you as a defender, you're not going to rest against Steph Curry. Whereas though Steph Curry he may not be in that particular play, but just him being on the court means that the defense can't relax. If you take Steph Curry out the game, then the defense will probably kind of relax. And then they'll focus on, they'll focus more on Jimmy Butler and maybe Jimmy Butler see more double teams, right? But you can't do that with Steph Curry on the court because Steph gonna hit that three and he gonna hurt you, so you can't do that. So as far as like how Jimmy Butler, his presence on the court benefits Draymond Green is you got another guy who's willing to go down in that paint and bang and get physical. So if Draymond Green is down there banging and getting physical, and somebody is he's occupied, then Jimmy Butler's going to come down there and he's going to get some rebounds and some putbacks, as we just seen. Like they just beat the Grizzlies, right? They just beat the Grizzlies, and Jimmy Butler showed up big in that game. And so Steph Curry didn't have his normal game. He didn't get off. He had a good game, but Jimmy Butler really, he really helped him out, and he came through. He came up big for him, and I also said that too. I was expecting like people a couple weeks ago. They said on I think it was ESPN on First Take. They said that Steph Curry has to score out of his mind in order for the Golden State Warriors to win and get deep into the playoffs. And I said, no, that's not true. I disagree with that because I think that Jimmy Butler raises his game. It's been known that Jimmy Butler raises his game in the playoffs. And so if Jimmy Butler raises his game, then again, that's going to help Steph Curry and Draymond Green out. So I don't think Steph Curry. It'll be crazy to ask Steph Curry to have to score 40 points a game, 40 plus points a game in order for their team to advance in the playoffs. But if Steph Curry is out on that court like he was against the Grizzlies, and he's a constant threat, that just puts so much pressure on the defense. So you can't double team Jimmy Butler because of Steph Curry, and you can't double team Steph Curry because of Jimmy Butler. So you got it. They're going to keep him honest, and then you have Draymond Green. You can't double team Draymond Green like down on the box. You can't go down and help out on Draymond as far as rebounding, because Draymond don't really play too much low post, offense. But if he crashing the boards, you can't send another man down there to help crash because now you got Jimmy Butler coming down there to crash the boards. So you know, it's in my opinion, it's gonna be hard to beat Golden State, by Golden State also having they got 4 championship rings, with Steph Curry, Draymond, then you got the coaching staff, so they know how to win. They seasoned veterans, they know how to win, and I don't think that they'll I mean, their margin for error is probably is not as small as people think. I think because they have that experience and they savvy about the game, I think that they'll be able to go deep into the playoffs, you know. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I think, like I said, they just beat the Grizzlies. They just beat the Grizzlies. Ja Morant went out hurt. He sprained his ankle. Um, and so they got the Houston Rockets coming up next, which, in my opinion, you got a young team in the Houston Rockets. And again, I think for experience for Golden State, I think is going to win out. Number one, I think the experience, and then on top of that, Golden State's defense, I think, is going to also have an effect on Houston. Now don't get me wrong, Houston played good defense too, but you talking about Steph Curry, who 4 championship rings. Then you talking about playoff Jimmy, who just elevates his game, And I just saw a recent report just before I came to do this video that Jimmy Butler just recently said that he really wants to get a ring for Steph Curry and Draymond Green. So I just think these guys are motivated. I think these guys are going to be very dangerous in these playoffs. And I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I won't be surprised if they make it out of the West and make it to the championship. Now, whether they can beat Cleveland or Boston, because that's who I'm picking in the East. I'm picking Cleveland or most likely Boston. I'm picking Boston. So I'm picking a Golden State and Boston NBA Finals, right? Now, I'm gonna have to see between those two teams who I think would win in those two teams. That's gonna be like I said, I'm going with Golden State and Boston to be in the NBA Finals. But as far as Houston is concerned, I think Golden State can definitely get Houston. Houston is young. Um, I think this is Ime Udoka's first year with them. I like I like what I'm seeing out of Houston, young team. I like the guy Jalen Green, you know, and they have a couple other guys who, they have a young athletic team, but I just don't think that they ready yet. I don't think like they're not battle tested. They had a pretty good Houston had a pretty good season, like regular season, they look pretty good. But are they battle tested? Like that playoff experience, I think means a lot. And I don't know that I think Jalen Green after this year, and him going through the playoffs, I think this experience right here will help him elevate his game. But right now, I just don't think that Jalen Green and his teammates are ready. Like I said, I like Ime Udoka as a coach. And I think that they're going to constantly get better because they do have a young team, and they have like an edge to them. I've seen them get into a couple. They got into a couple scuffles earlier this season, so they do have that edge to them, and they are a reflection of their coach. So Houston, right now I don't think they're ready, but in another couple years, a year or two, I think Houston, they keep this team together. I think Houston will be, they'll be in the thick of things. But for the most part, I'm like I said, I'm when I look at the teams in the West and then I look at what Golden State bring to the table, I think the toughest team for Golden State to get past, I think it's going to be OKC. You know, if they see, if they have to see Dallas or if they have to see the Lakers, I think they can get past those teams, right? But I think it's going to be OKC, and I ain't even mentioned Minnesota, right? I think they get whoever. Only team I think, like I said, who's going to give them problems, I think is going to be OKC. I think that'll be the toughest matchup. And so with that, but some people don't even think OKC will be able to get past the Lakers. So I would prefer to see OKC go up against the Lakers and knock the Lakers out and then go that distance. So hopefully it'll work out that way. But that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And with that being said, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.